Between Pokemon Legends Arceus and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, we've been seeing a resurgence of cross-generational evolutions, some for the better and some for worse. So let's talk about some Pokemon that need some cross-gen evolutions. Hey everyone, Brandon here. Cross-generational evolutions began as early as the second generation of Pokemon, with the introduction of Pokemon like Scizor and Crobat, who just so happen to be some of my favorite Pokemon. Many others tend to agree that the trend of cross-gen evolutions is fairly net positive, and like I said in the intro, they've had a massive comeback in the past couple generations, with regional evolutions like Obstagoon and Overqwil, but also straight-up new evolutions like Weirdeer or Farigiraf. So that got me thinking about Pokemon that should have gotten a new evolution. One Pokemon in particular that has puzzled me as to why it hasn't received love in the evolution department, and that Pokemon is Jinx. In Gen 4, many Gen 1 Pokemon received evolutions or even pre-evolutions, but Jinx was completely missing from that list. For context, Electabuzz, Magmar, and Jinx used to be regarded as a trio of sorts. In Gen 1, their types mirrored the legendary birds, as well as the move Tri-Attack. In Gen 2, they all received pre-evolutions, further cementing their relationship to one another. But then in Gen 4, Jinx is just left out? Even Jinx's partner in Creep, Mr. Mime, received a pre-evolution in Gen 4, and to add insult to injury, got an Ice Psychic type evolution in Gen 8. Look, I realized there was a bit of controversy surrounding Jinx, but Game Freak changed Jinx's appearance and even made Smoochum. So where's my Jinx Evo, dang it? A great example of what that might look like is Operinks from Maui region, which expands upon the opera singer motif of Jinx and definitely feels like it could stand next to the likes of Electivire and Magmortar. And a phone that can stand next to the likes of gaming consoles comes to us from today's sponsor, Red Magic. Most of the time when I'm gaming on the go, my phone just doesn't live up to my expectations. Enter the Red Magic 8 Pro, a new and improved gaming experience that you can fit in the palm of your hand, all packed into one absolute unit of a phone. The Red Magic 8 Pro was specifically created for mobile gaming. With a 120Hz 6.8-inch Full HD AMO LED display with Gorilla Glass 5 for protection, which is very nice on the eyes, 960Hz multi-finger touch sampling, which easily keeps you leagues above the competition, and Red Magic's fastest chipset yet with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 Adreno GPU and the Red Core 2. Red Magic's dedicated gaming chip with up to 16GB of RAM and up to 512GB of storage space. But wait, there's even more. The Red Magic 8 Pro includes dual touchpad shoulder triggers on the sides of your phone for a faster response rate, which could mean the difference between winning and losing for many players, including myself. You can enjoy games like Pokemon Unite, Fortnite, and even Genshin Impact all in the palm of your hand. The Red Magic 8 Pro also includes an astonishing 4 cameras, with 3 on the back and 1 on the front that can support 1080p and even 4K resolution, with video footage up to 60 frames per second. Make sure to check out the Red Magic 8 Pro using my link in the description. Thank you so much to Red Magic for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to it. Certain Pokemon like Scyther and Sneasel actually received a second cross-generation evolution in Legends Arceus, with Scyther in particular bringing to mind another Pokemon that deserves a second cross-gen evolution, Onyx. Scyther and Onyx are the only two Pokemon in the history of the franchise to evolve via the Metal Coat. On top of that, both their evolutions received Megas in Gen 6, further solidifying this connection. So maybe in a future Legends game we could see Onyx receive a similar treatment. And Michael Ryan had that exact idea when he created Glacius, an ice ground type for his Legends-inspired project linked in the description. Glacius evolves via the white Augurite item, to contrast the black Augurite that Cleaver evolves with. The connection doesn't stop there though, as Glacius becomes an ice type upon evolution, which is also weak to steel, just like Kleavor's rock typing. And of course, to round everything out, Glacius is a reference to the notorious Crystal Onyx episode from the Pokemon anime. This evolution for Onyx brings so many things full circle and would be so cool to see it actually happen. Pun intended. While we're on the topic of Legends Arceus, a Pokemon that received a brand new third stage evolution in that game was Ursaring. Well, Ursaring has some counterparts that have come up over the generations, Beartic and Pangoro. There isn't really any lore or behavioral reason for these counterparts. The only real reason is that they're all bipedal second stage bear Pokemon. So just like Onyx, I think Beartic and Pangoro could receive a new third stage evolution in a future Legends game. And with that, we come back to Michael's Legends project, in which he gave a new evolution to Beartic called Polartic, an ice fairy type that, can I just say, takes this evolution line to a whole new level. Seeing this potential truly makes me wish this was real. Polartic follows the pattern of Ursaluna by having a quadrupedal evolution, but Polartic is also inspired by an Icelandic mythical creature that is ostensibly a polar bear unicorn, whose name looks like it was taken from the top row of a word search puzzle. Regardless, Polartic is an epic evolution to Beartic that I would love to see in the future. The second generation of Pokemon has seen some major love with forms and evolutions in both Legends and Scarlet and Violet, but there is one Pokemon in particular that is in desperate need of attention, and is one of the very few Gen 2 Pokemon yet to be given the spotlight in any way. And that Pokemon is Sunflora. Its pre-evolution Sunkern has the second lowest base stat total of all time, only being beaten by Wishiwashi, which has the schooling form to help it. But then Sunkern evolves into Sunflora, which has a 425 BST and a pretty simple design, which leaves plenty of room for an evolution to come into the mix. I even took the initiative and made my own evolution for Sunflora named Synthesis for my Fakemon region, the Cornera region, which is a grass fire type, playing into the whole idea of a sunflower. But there have been many great Sunflora evolutions in the Fakemon community over the years, which just further accentuates my point. And while we're talking about base stat totals, a Pokemon with an absolutely atrocious BST is the master himself, Kricketune. It has a BST of 384, which is almost the lowest for a fully evolved Pokemon, only being beaten by Shedinja because it literally has 1 point in the HP stat. So a Kricketune evolution could definitely help take this line from meme-worthy to team-worthy. A great example of a Kricketune evolution is Krickemarch from Oppo Fakemon. It's a bug ghost type and actually evolves from a regional form of Kricketune of the same type. Krickemarch furthers the violin beetle part of Kricketune, making it into more of a stand-up base, and takes on the role of a maestro, which I feel is a great expansion of Kricketune's concept. Another concept that had been long thought of in the Fakemon community was a Pika clone that evolves. I even did this in the Cornera region as well with my Pika clones. Well, lo and behold, Gen 9 not only brought us our first evolving Pika clone, but it evolved twice. With this precedent set, what is stopping all the previous Pika clones from getting their own evolutions? I made a whole video where I did exactly that, which you can check out in the card or linked in the description. Some of my favorites from that video are Togedemaru's evolution Togedioki and Minon's evolution Devizen, which just shows some of the potential we could see with Pika clone evolutions. And technically speaking, Pamo is the Pika clone of the group, making Pami a Pichu clone and Pamat a Raichu clone. So the Pika clones could also receive their own pre-evolutions as well. Let me know if that's a video you would like to see in the future. To round out this video, there is one Pokemon in particular that acts as the poster child for needing an evolution, and that is Luvdisc. This is definitely one of the more useless Pokemon in the franchise, with an incredibly low BST and a tendency to show up late in Pokemon games, well after the point in which its stats would have been remotely useful. Its only real use is for finding heart scales to help with the move tutor, but now that the move tutor is no longer a thing in Gen 9, it makes Luvdisc very useless. On top of all that, there is an elephant in the room you are probably all thinking of. Alomomola. Why this Pokemon was introduced in Black and White, the game that only used new Pokemon, boggles me. It is so clearly a Luvdisc evolution, it actually hurts. But since Game Freak will probably never retcon that connection, we in the Fakemon community must make a Luvdisc evolution ourselves. Two incredible examples of Luvdisc evolutions are Lovey-Dovey by Tubbs AZ and Arisdisc by Mauhi region. They both evolve by Luvdisc leveling up while knowing a move that relates to love, which is just perfect. On top of that, the pairing that these two evolutions use works wonderfully. And I especially love the bow and arrow approach to Arisdisc, to mention its namesake, Eros, the Greek god of love, whose Roman counterpart is the very famous Cupid. But those are some Pokemon that need cross-gen evolutions. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.